Hello and welcome to today's sort of lesson. And what we're going to look at today is Plagioclimax communities. So we're going to have a look at what they are, and then we're going to look at Coppice as well as our example to start with. So what we've looked at before is the process of succession, where we start off with our pioneer species. And these go through successive sears. And as the community develops, the new species colonize and outcompete the sort of older species. All right. And if this continues, we have the process of primary succession, which reaches a climax community. And quite often in really well-established habitats, things like rainforests or coral reefs, for example, we don't want to have any human impacts. So if we want to manage these, we have a very hands-off approach. If we want to keep them, maintain them as they are. Now, if you have some disturbance, that resets to an earlier stage of succession. So we've got disturbance, reset to earlier sear. And then we have the process of secondary succession. Which brings us back to the climax community. And these are all sort of things that we've seen before. However, what we've not looked at before is the idea of a deflected succession. Now, what this is when human activities prevent normal succession. And this is where we have things like burning or mowing or grazing, and this creates a new type of climax community. So we have a community of species maintained by human intervention. And we call this a plagioclimax community. Okay, plagio meaning human caused. And as long as that human activity continues, we'll have deflected succession. However, if we stop the human activity, then we will see succession occur until we result at returning back to our climax community, and we will lose that community of species that developed in the plagioclimax. In a lot of countries, like I say, where we have these things like rainforests or coral reefs, these characteristic climax communities, we don't want to interfere with them. But in the UK, as a really strong example of this, we have most of our landscape is characterized by traditional land management. So if we change how we manage our land, or we remove that management, we lose these really characteristic sort of plagioclimax communities. So we have some habitats that are really classic that we find in the UK, that are really valuable, have a really diverse range of species that we don't find in other places, and they are all plagioclimaxes. So lowland heath, and this is maintained by grazing and burning. We've got hay meadows, which are maintained by mowing. Wet meadows, which are maintained by grazing. Upland moorland, which is maintained through grazing and burning again. Arable fields, which is maintained through ploughing. A garden lawn, which is maintained through mowing. Coppice woodland, which is felling every 8 to 20 years. Selective felling typically, and reed beds, which is mowing or cutting.